Okay, so now you're wrestling for the WWF, but the big event happened with the Undertaker during the Royal Rumble.
Changed my life.
Describe what happened.
So I get a call. I'm in Cincinnati and going through just a regular day of training. Get a call from the guy running it, Les Thatcher, and he calls me into the office and says, they're going to bring you up. And I kind of had a feeling for the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's it's one of those matches that if you have people that you want to put out, it's very easy. You can put a rookie like me out who doesn't know much, just because there's 30 men in this battle. So I thought they're gonna bring me out, let the crowd see me. Hey, it's the tough enough kid, and then immediately eliminate me. So I went to Atlanta thinking that. I arrive at the show thinking that, and because I arrived day of, and I go down to the ring, and they told me. I got to the arena and they said, "Oh, go find Shane and go find Shane." And when I got there, Shane was talking to Undertaker, so I went up and, "Hey, Shane, I was told to find you," and that's where he told me the information that would, in essence, change my life. And since that day, a week hasn't went by that someone hasn't brought this night up, and that was me eliminating the Undertaker from the Royal Rumble.
Right. People say this is the most shocking elimination ever.
Ever, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
When they told you you're about to do this, and Undertaker's been around since like 1990, right? Yeah. He's the OG in this room.
He's the godfather. Yeah. And he's the godfather of the locker room. And I've never seen anyone in the locker room, in a wrestling locker room, who has more respect than Undertaker. And it's earned. There was nothing handed to that man. He earned every single bit of it. And what makes wrestling such a crazy business is, the office could have told him, "Hey, we want this kid to eliminate you." He could have said no. Even though it's predetermined, he had every right to say no.
Does that happen? Do wrestlers get told to do something and they just say, "Screw you, I'm going to do it this way instead"?
More than you think.
Really? Like what percentage of the time, if you were just eyeballing?
Does it actually happen, or do they maybe have issue with it? I would say they might have issue with it maybe 15% of the time.
How many times does it actually happen, though?
Under 5%.
Under 5%.
Because you're going to lose. You realize once you do that,
you're out.
And you better have another organization.
Right.
But I've seen people hold the WWE or hold a wrestling or an organization almost hostage. If they have a title or something, and you want to finish off a storyline one way, if they're not getting their way, they have all the cards that one time.
Yeah, I remember when I interviewed Ken Shamrock, he talked about the Montreal screw job and, just how things go very left last minute, and it gets, to the point where people want to fight each other afterwards. I think
sometimes do.
Yeah, Vince McMahon got punched that night, right?
He did, yeah. You got
that was before your time, but yeah.
And I think he knew he was going to get a shiner. And this is one of those crazy cases where I can see both sides. I can see Brett having his opinion and wanting to leave on his terms, or thinking he'd earned the right to leave on his term. But then again, I also see Vince. It's his company. Yeah. And we're fake fighting. You're not really the champion. You're the champion because Vince and other writers said you're the champion. So I see both sides. Yeah. But point being, if Undertaker did not want to be eliminated by me, he could have easily told them no, and guess what? They would have found another way to get him out of that Rumble.
Well, the Undertaker actually gave you a really vicious chair shot.
He did.
Was that the hardest you ever got hit?
No, I would get hit later on in 2005 by Gene Snitsky, probably harder. That chair shot, everybody looks at it, and it was devastating. But you got to remember, at this time, when he hits me with that chair, that was the best chair shot that I'd ever been given. And the reason being, at that point, my night was over. That whole day, all I was worried about was hitting. I threw a move called a drop kick, and I don't want to say it was always an easy move to throw for me, but it was one of those moves that I could throw because I could jump pretty good. That said, if I miss or if I don't hit Taker with the drop kick correctly that night, if I make him, the Phenom, if I make the Godfather look bad, I don't have a career anymore. I'm a one and done. No one, my wrestling career ends that night. So knowing that, spending all day, spending hours stewing on that drop kick, by the time I actually hit him with the drop kick and he leans down and tells me, good, he went, good shit. Once I knew that was the case, that chair shot was very easy to take.
Well, yeah, that chair shot kind of kicked off your first on-screen feud.
Yeah.
So now you're kind of in the mix.
I'm in the mix.
How did that feel?
It was like a dream. It was one of those things that, a year and a half prior to that, I was teaching 6th grade. So, and I had a wrestling bulletin board up in my classroom. So to then, and I was going to wrestling shows. I went and watched the WWF in Tacoma, literally almost a year prior to that. And then to think, fast forward, that I'm now in a feud with the Undertaker. It's one of those. It's one of those things.
Yeah,
that,
surreal.
Yeah, you just how did life get to this point? Yeah.